Hello there, welcome to CoreTV News at 4. I am Gete. At least 10 people have been confirmed killed in two suicide attacks in Potiskum, Yobe State. The attacks took place at Durowa and a vigilante office along Gashua Road in the city. A hospital source told the nation on phone that 10 people have been confirmed dead at the Potiskum General Hospital, while 5 others are badly injured. This attack is the latest in a series of suicide bombing by Boko Haram militants in recent times, with Potiskum having suffered more of the attacks, especially in Yobe State. President Muhammadu Buhari on Sunday urged African leaders to place the interest of their countries above narrow personal interest. He gave the charge while chairing the African Union Peace and Security Council meeting at the ongoing AU Summit in Johannesburg, South Africa. The president noted that as the meeting of PSC focused on the situations of South Sudan and Burundi, it required the leaders to put the situations in both countries in proper context. He said the people of the continent are suffering while their political leaders are bickering among themselves. He noted that the continent was afflicted with conflict of diverse forms, including the crisis in Burkina Faso, Mali, Libya, Central African Republic, South Sudan, and more recently in Burundi. The Nigerian president added that the leaders must make deliberate efforts to save the face of Africa. President Muhammadu Buhari on Saturday had directed that $21 million out of the pledge of $100 million which Nigeria made to the multinational joint task force are released within the next 1 week. Buhari disclosed this while chairing a meeting of the African Union Peace Security Council at the ongoing 25th AU Summit in Johannesburg, South Africa. He said he gave the directive based on the decision of the recent extraordinary summit of the Lake Chad Basin Commission and Benin Republic that $30 million should be immediately made available to the multinational joint task force, which is saddled with the responsibility of fighting the Boko Haram terrorist group. He said the global nature of terror required all countries to act in brotherhood and partnership and wage war against agents of evil. Following the wrangling between some leaders within the All Progressives Congress on the emergence of Senator Bukola Saraki as a Senate President and Yakubu Dogara as a Speaker House of Representatives, the Kwara Concerned Citizens has warned anyone to desist from their disreputable ways against the APC National Publicity Secretary Lai Mohammed. The group affirms that the statement made by the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Lai Mohammed, is not his own but that of the party, saying he articulates the position of his party at many levels, including intra and inter-party, national as well as international. The group says he is expected at all levels to put the interest of the party above his own personal interest. It says it will be unfair, illogical to conclude that Lai Mohammed's statement comparing the immediate reaction of his party to the elections in the National Assembly means he is opposed to the election of his kinsman Bukola Saraki as the President of the Senate. Officers of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice and the National Security Advisor have denied involvement in the recovery of the money looted from the nation's treasury by a former head of state, the late General Sani Abacha. This was in contrast to the claim by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, which in an affidavit it filed with respect to a suit before Justice Ahmed Mohammed of the Federal High Court in Abuja, which attributed the custody of the information on the recovered money to the officers of the Attorney General of the Federation and the National Security Advisor. The counterclaims by the key government officers are revealed in court papers filed in the suit seeking under the provisions of the Freedom of Information Act detailed information on the looted money so far recovered from Abacha. The plaintiff, a non-governmental organization, Legal Defense and Assistance Project, had 4 years ago in 2011 instituted the suit with the EFCC as a sole defendant after the Commission refused its request for the information. Decisions taken by the Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, to reduce the number of ministry in Kaduna State to 13 from the erstwhile 24 has attracted criticisms from a section of the public, especially the immediate past Attorney General of Kaduna State, Shehu Garba. The duo are of the opinion that the governor needed the State House of Assembly permitting him to tinker with the number of ministries. Meanwhile, speaking in a press release signed by the former House of Representative candidate Jama Sanga Federal Constituency, Muta Maisamari said the governor acted in compliance with the provisions of Section 192, subsection 1 of the Constitution, and not that he acted arbitrarily. He says budgetary provisions, for example, are made and announced before same as presented to the legislature for deliberation and passage into law. They should criticize objectively and desist from allowing political considerations to becloud their senses of judgment. It's CoreTV News at 4. We'll take a break. Please stay with us.
That's a sign of protest, saying that things are not good.
Women share the most amazing thoughts.
When it's close to the time, our people will protest
on national issues.
That was their own point.
That was an accident. That is different.
And they do it
Politics is about being a servant.
passionately.
Without a woman, there will be no success at all.
Sharing the adorable word of women.
There are some women who have what it takes.
In politics.
Margaret Thatcher, Iron Lady. When she's too soft, she's too soft.
Only on CoreTV News.
Thanks for staying tuned with us now. Do not forget that you can also catch us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTVNews. On Twitter at CoreTVNewsNG. And on YouTube at youtube.com/CoreTV_News. The Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission has licensed 4 new companies as part of efforts to add more megawatts of energy to the national grid. Presenting the certificates in Abuja, NERC Chairman Sam Amadi said proper due diligence has been done on them before their consideration. The companies are expected to add 774 megawatts of on-grid electricity if they deliver on their contracts. The Kwara State chapter of Independent Petroleum Marketers has called on the federal government to deregulate the oil sector with emphasis on the pipeline, stating that the maintenance contracts let out by the past administration was ambiguous. Making this call in Ilorin, Kwara State capital, the association says the maintenance contract, instead of securing the pipelines, has resulted in more pipeline vandalization, which usually wind up through investigation. Rashid has more.
The resolve of the new administration to look into the corruption perpetrated in the oil sector is no doubt sending signals across the subsectors as the stakeholders are coming up with suggestions in making the sector transparent. More so, as Muhammadu Buhari-led government says the Port Harcourt refinery is set to resume operation, calling on the government to revisit the issue of frequent pipeline vandalism and the maintenance contract by the past administration. The Kwara State Chairman of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, Olariwaju Okonlawo, noted that the issue of pipeline vandalization could be best tackled by private companies who have expertise to manage and monitor the pipeline.
Because when we, as of today in Lagos, they are selling 95 naira, and we had transportation costs. The cost of transportation to Ilorin is 250,000, and the PEF will pay us 105. How do we get the argument? Sometimes our truck will be in Lagos for a lot of days before loading. Ilorin depot was designed to be a bridging depot to the north. There are a lot of space, parking space. Even those in Ilorin town, we don't know there is any truck in Ilorin.
With the local production of petroleum products on the way, Olariwaju calls on federal government to repair the Ilorin depot of NNPC, which he said could serve the entire northern state.
The pipeline issue. That is why we are calling for total deregulation. I'm very sure if the pipeline was in the hand of the private sectors, I don't think we have any complaint that the vendors are not allowing them to pump to Ilorin. They're supposed to manage the line so that the product will get to this place. So we urge the government to assist us in that.
The searchlight of Buhari's government is no doubt in the oil sector, and Nigerians eagerly awaits the outcome of a major policy that will sanitize the sector in days to come.
The Department of Petroleum Resources in Eket, Akwa Ibom State said it had sealed off 30 and suspended 7 filling stations from operations in the state in 1 month over illegal practices. The DPR controller of operations in Eket, Asuko Antai, told the news agency of Nigeria in Eket that the stations were closed for under-dispensing and overpricing of their products. He further said the suspended 7 petrol stations were given products for various stations which were diverted to unknown places. According to Asuko, over 30 petrol stations have been sealed in the last 1 month. He, however, expressed regret that petroleum dealers in some areas still sold the product above the approved pump prices. According to the controller, the culprits are in police detention in the state. The Plateau State House of Assembly has received commendation for the manner it conducted itself in electing the principal officers of the 8th Assembly, which saw the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker emerging from different parties. A member of the House representing Shandam constituency, Henry Kinkwap, gave the commendation while speaking in just the report.
The member Henry Yinkwap was speaking on the unique arrangement that saw the emergence of an APC member as a speaker despite the People's Democratic Party having 30 members, while the APC has 11, and this was done to ensure smooth running of the State House of Assembly.
Plateau State House of Assembly, being an important arm of the government, is already exhibiting that unionism, that unity, so that the Plateau project will be a reality.
Yinkwap expressed optimism that the 8th Plateau State Assembly has laid a strong foundation that will engender unity and subsequent development. He added that the State House of Assembly will play its part to ensure that the state gets to the next level.
It was a marriage of union. It was a strong union that laid a foundation for a solid beginning of the 8th Assembly, where the members of PDP, even though they are the majority, considered and supported us to bring up the Speaker in APC, which is a very good development. In fact, this government is coming as a government of unity to unite.
He, however, called for the emulation of the example of the Plateau State House of Assembly.
The Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Peter Azi, has called on Plateau residents to pursue peace and peaceful activities vigorously in their interest if their desire is to see investors come to the state. The Middle Belt state has not known tranquility due to the communal clashes, cattle rustling, bomb explosion, and insurgent attacks that has become part of its civil life. The report.
With the sudden change of former ruling party PDP in Plateau State, many are calling for peace and order to salvage what is left in the state, whose pride is home of peace and tourism. The Speaker of Plateau State House of Assembly, Peter Aze, says it is time for all meaning citizens of the state to work for total attainment of peace and peaceful coexistence.
We should try to be together, have our decks together, together, so that we assist the government, and then we should be peace-loving people. At least we are yearning for this baby atmosphere we have gotten. We want it to continue, in fact to improve, so that everybody will definitely get investors.
He states due to insurgency ravaging the state, there is need for proper development in the state. He now calls on residents to allow peace and tranquility to reign in the state.
Investors cannot come with the atmosphere of crisis. They can only come at the atmosphere of peace. So I'm enjoying every citizen of the state, Nigeria, and anybody that finds himself here to be peace-loving citizen.
Kaduna State Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai has said that his administration will complete the Zaria water project and break whatever jinx is stalling the project that is years behind schedule, despite already costing the state billions of naira. The governor at the weekend, who was speaking when he paid an unscheduled visit to the project site in Zaria, directed the contractors to present to him the comprehensive details of the project. In a statement signed by his special assistant on media and publicity, Samuel Arwan, the governor said the non-completion of the project is also responsible for the perennial lack of water in Zaria town and the neighboring 7 local government areas. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has called on Nigerians and corporate bodies to join hands in the fight against cancer. Ambode stated this at an event tagged the Banquet of Stars Against Cancer. Speaking through his deputy, Oluronti Adebolu, Ambode says the fight against cancer will be more successful through early detection, which could be possible through regular medical check.
As hardly can one find someone who is not related directly or indirectly with at least one cancer victim. Lots of lives are lost globally every day to this scourge.
Also speaking, former Nigerian High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Christopher Kolade and Patu Tomi, said access to qualitative public health is necessary in early diagnosis of the deadly disease.
Then we know that we have to mobilize our best intelligence, our best efforts, and our best resources to fight this war.
So that as these clinics move around, people will get a chance to find out their status. Because as the doctors will remind us again and again when they speak to us, the key is in early detection.
A federal high court has dismissed the bail application brought by 6 former staff of the Central Bank of Nigeria. The accused persons, Patience Okoro Eye, Afolabi Olufemi, Johnson Ilori, Adekunle Sunday, Kolawole Babalola, Olaronti Muniru, Adeola and Fatai Adedokun, are being persecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for illegally recycling mutilated currency in excess of 8 billion naira. In dismissing the application, trial judge Justice Nathaniel Imanu said it was because of the gravity of the offense, which borders on the economy and well-being of the people of the country. The judge also warned counsel that he would not entertain frivolous applications before adjourning till July 6th and 7th. In a similar development, Justice Imanu also dismissed the bail application brought by 3 former CBN staff and 2 from Sterling Bank staff. They were arraigned on an 11-count charge bordering on conspiracy, fraud and stealing after allegedly defrauding the banks of over 1 billion naira. A leader of the All Progressives Congress in Bayelsa State, Chief Berekeme Okbodo, has urged President Muhammadu Buhari not to interfere in the corruption charges brought against former Bayelsa State Governor Timipre Sylvia. Bodo, who was a former security advisor to Sylvia, said the president should give the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and judges handling the case free hand to try his former boss. Bodo, who spoke during a news conference in Yenagoa on Sunday, said the rearrangement of Sylvia by the EFCC on charges bordering on corruption allegations was proper and in order. He says his appeal is that President Buhari will not intervene in the case, ordering that he should give the court and the EFCC free hand to handle the case. The efforts of the Ogun State Police Command to crop cult-related activities in the state, particularly in Ijebu-Ode and its environs, have paid off, as almost 30 suspected quarters have been arrested within 1 week at various locations in Ijebu-Ode of Ogun State. The teams on special operation in Ijebu-Ode have carried out raids on many black spots and hideouts, including Fidipote Street, Gbogbo Village, Italapo, Imeweje Village, and some hotels in the area, which has led to the arrest of the prime suspects or ringleaders who had been involved in many criminal acts including a series of killings of people in the area and in some other parts of the state. Some of the suspected quarters arrested by the police include Benga Banjo, aka Solution, Akim Fon, Dami Jawando, real names not yet known, Kazim Balofi, Oluwatemilai Tunde, aka Majek, Olotu Lukman, aka Eba Neo, not real name, and Oladele Oluniga. Some of the suspects have been arraigned in court in Ijebu-Ode. The United Nations has said an estimated 168 million children around the world, including Nigeria, between the ages of 5 and 14, work many full-time and more than half in conditions considered to be hazardous to their health. In a statement issued on Friday to mark the 2015 edition of the World Day Against Child Labour, the UN called for the international community to invest in quality education as a key step in the fight against child employment. According to the UN International Labour Organization, child labour keeps young children out of school, ensuring that their hopes for a more prosperous future remain unrealized. Asia and the Pacific still have the largest total number of 78 million, but sub-Saharan Africa constitutes to be the region with the highest incidence of child labour, with some 59 million or over 21% of the child population. Office of the National Security Advisor, NSA, has alerted the nation over a possible threat of the Middle East respiratory syndrome, MERS, which has killed about 15 people in the last few days in South Korea. Hundreds of people are also under quarantine in that country. The office, as a result, asked the Federal Ministry of Health to activate the response plan and procedure to deal with an eventual outbreak. In a letter to the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry over the weekend, signed by Titi Wada for the National Security Advisor, the office noted with Nigerians traveling all over the world for business and pleasure, the disease could likely be carried into Nigeria as it is transmitted through contact with an infected person. It's CoreTV News at 4. We'll take another break. Please stay with us.
As news breaks, people don't let events pass without giving their comment or reactions.
When the problem arises in society, these are the people that should be consulted.
To cleanse the corruption in society, we are not to provide information for good life and also security of life and property in this country.
The academic society have the loudest voice on this platform.
Whether you call it a sovereign national conference or a national conference, it's just about the people of Nigeria.
There should be a change in power.
In any way they can do it.
I think there's a script already.
Every Tuesday at 8:45 p.m. on this station. From the Ivory Tower, a must-watch for the learning minds.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. Good to have you. Stay tuned. Now, news just reaching us says Lagos State's Governor Akinwumi Ambode has announced the dissolution of all border parastatals and agencies of government. The directive takes immediate effect. Ambode says he was appreciative of the contributions of the outgoing board members to the development of the state. According to the governor, the dissolution excludes the State Judicial Commission, the Civil Service Commission, and the State Independent Electoral Commission. It says new boards will be constituted in due course. Another patient has died in South Korea amid an outbreak of the Middle East respiratory syndrome, MERS, bringing total fatalities to 16. Officials also reported 5 new cases in South Korea, which has the largest outbreak outside the Middle East. Officials say 150 people have now contracted the virus in South Korea. Meanwhile, a South Korean man in Slovakia tested negative for the virus but will remain in quarantine for further testing. The 38-year-old man started showing symptoms such as diarrhea, fever, and skin lesions after arriving in the Slovak capital on 3rd June. 4 blood tests have been conducted, with 3 showing negative results, but the 4th test produced no clear result, and so health officials say further tests will have to be conducted. The man reportedly works for a subcontractor of South Korean car maker Kia. A hospital in the South Korean capital, Seoul, has suspended most of its services after being identified as a source of almost half of the cases. The president of the Samsung Medical Center issued a public apology on Sunday. Nigeria and Singapore have concluded plans to sign agreements to strengthen the bilateral air services and curb double taxation on investments in both countries. The Nigeria's ambassador to Singapore, Nonye Rajiz Okpara, disclosed the plan in Abuja. Rajiz Okpara said the agreement would be sealed on August 4, and Singapore saying it would ensure passengers air carriers from Nigeria and Singapore would have the authority to operate any number of air services between and beyond both countries. According to her, the double taxation component of the agreement would clarify the taxing rights on different incomes and investment arising from cross-border economic activities involving the two nations. She said the agreement would also encourage reduction or exception of tax on certain types of income. The dream of Lagos State becoming one of the oil-producing states is moving closer to reality, as the operator projected that the well and oil mining lease 113, OML 113, would be churning out the first oil by December. A joint venture partner, Panoro Energy ASA, in its operation update recently said that the operation of the OML 113 license has, on behalf of the joint venture partner, entered into a rig contract with Saipem for the Scarabao 3 drilling rig to carry out the drilling and completion program for the field Cameroonian oil development. The statement, however, said the well operations are expected to commence in early 3rd quarter of 2015 and are likely to take approximately 90 days to complete once well operations have been completed. Subsea equipment will be installed and the wells will be tied back to the front of footing FPSO, currently undergoing refurbishment in Singapore. AJ is an offshore field located in the western part of Nigeria in the Dahomey Basin at the border with Benin. With first oil targeted for December 2015, the field is situated in water depth ranging from 100 to 1,000 meters above 24 kilometers from the coast. Heavy finance transactions and the shares of some banks and insurance companies last week enhanced the volume of shares traded, as a turnover of 1.552 billion shares worth 17.532 billion was recorded in 17,785 deals by investors on the floor of the exchange, higher than a total of 1.221 billion shares valued at 16.964 billion naira that changed hands in 19,847 deals during preceding week. Specifically, the financial services industry, measured by volume, led the activity chart with 929,317 million shares valued at 6.909 billion naira traded in 9,877 deals, thus contributing 59.88% and 39.41% to the total equality turnover volume and value respectively. The natural resources industry followed with a turnover of 129.851 billion shares worth 64.986 million naira in 43 deals. The consumer goods industry occupied the third place with 124.814 million shares worth 6.858 billion naira in 2,991 deals. Trading in the top 3 equities, namely United Bank for Africa PLC, Cornerstone Insurance Company PLC, and Multiverse PLC, measured by volume, accounted for 805 586.164 million shares, 1,950 billion naira in 719 deals. Kwara United Football Club of Ilorin on Sunday defeated visiting Rangers International FC of Enugu 3-1 to claim the full points in the 2014-2015 Globe Premier League. The Week 11 encounter was played at the main bowl of the Kwara Stadium complex. The home side opened scoring just 2 minutes into the match through Dario Joe, with the lead only lasting about 14 minutes. An error by the duo of goalkeeper Shagari Ismail and Halilu Obadaki resulted into Rangers equalizing through Razak Adebite, who slaughtered a low cross in the 16th minute. Former Boa Vista midfielder Olufemi Oladapo restored Kwara United's leads just before half-time off a pass from Shegun Lebuosu. Kwara United responded well to coach Tunde Abdulrahman's half-time talk as they dominated proceedings thereafter, even though a resilient Ranger backline led by Oke Odita stood firm. However, United's new singing Emmanuel Agunwangu sealed victory for Kwara United in the 81st minute with his side's third goal. And that's CoreTV News for this hour. Thank you so much for watching. Please join us again. I am Gift or Getting.